Hey guys, how's it going? So, I'm going to talk for a few minutes about this new Netflix film, and it's called Cuties. And first and foremost, I'm not going to tell you guys what to do or what to think because I'm no figure of authority over you, and I don't even like figures of authority. I don't think you guys want to be told what to do, but I do have some opinions on it, and I just wanted to talk to you about it, just like how I would if you were sitting right here with me, because that's what I'd like to do, but a lot of you are all over the country and even the world. So, Cuties, let me just get it right off the bat. Despicable, sinful, nasty. It actually doesn't do the word despicable justice. You know, I heard how bad it was. Some people said, well, you shouldn't even watch it. It's so bad. And I said, well, I can handle it. And I can handle it. I'm not going crazy or anything, but part of me wishes I wouldn't have even seen any of it. I've watched through all the different clips. It seemed very uninteresting to me, the whole plot line, so I forwarded through just to see, like, could it really be as bad as people say it is? And yeah, it's pretty bad. It's just as bad as people say it is, if not worse. And this is basically children, young girls. The lead character plays the role of an 11-year-old, and from what I understand, she was indeed 11 years old when she played the lead role. And it's about a girl that grew up in a strict religious family, conservative family, and how she learns how to dance in certain ways and is influenced by some friends. Here's what it comes down to. In this film, there's children. I want to emphasize this again. We're not even talking teenagers. We're not talking adolescents. We're not talking young ladies. These are literally children. And they're enacting in this film and in their dance routines because they're competing as a dance team. Sexual acts that, although they're not technically performing pornographic acts, they're simulating basically pornographic acts. This is very adjacent, in my opinion, to child pornography. Now, is it literally that? No, but literal versus figurative versus the overall impact, these become blurred lines. It's very, very sexually suggestive. These girls are doing dance moves that simulate things that decent people probably don't even do in the bedroom, but if they do, it's with consenting adults. They're doing things with private parts of their body. I don't want to get into too much detail here because this is a family-friendly channel, but where they're emphasizing areas of their crotch, of their butt. They're doing hand gestures that would simulate things that, again, I don't even want to talk about. I'm kind of getting embarrassed to even talk about this kind of stuff because I'll be honest with you guys. Even my wife and I, consenting adults, we don't even do these kinds of things or talk about these kinds of things, and I don't know how many people in real life do, but here's the big issue that's going on right now with it, and I want to opine. And I'm going to say it multiple times, but I'll say it again. I totally disavow. This film's terrible. In my opinion, it should have never been produced. And from my personal opinion, if I had a way for it not to exist, I'd like to delete the master tape and have it not even exist. Because there's certain things like this that just cross the line so much that, in my opinion, there's no good that can become of it, and it's only bad. But we have people from the government wanting to get involved now. We have prominent senators, representatives, people that are asking the Department of Justice to do inquiries. And we have people wanting laws to be passed to ban the film or stop the film or even potentially criminally punish the makers of the film. Now, I'll be honest with you. My gut instinct is, heck yeah, put these people in prison. This is essentially, I don't want to exaggerate. I'm not trying to say anything for dramatic effect. It's essentially, though, right up to about the finest line you could get to almost being child porn. Really. Is it literally? I don't know. But it's just wrong. I know it when I see it. This film is nasty and it should not exist. However, we have the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment, and I'm going to draw a parallel to the two in 1 second, because as you guys know, with my other channel, 2AEDU, I'm pretty big proponent of the Second Amendment, to say the least. But I'm a proponent of all of our God-given rights. And I do believe these were endowed by our Creator. In my case, the Christian God. There's other creators. Whatever you sincerely believe created you is your Creator, and these are your rights. And you do have rights to things like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is in our founding document, the Declaration of Independence. And then they furthered that and basically had the Bill of Rights, which is prohibitions. They don't grant you rights. These were given to you by your Creator, but it's prohibitions of the government. Hands off of our rights. And in the First Amendment, Congress shall pass no law bridging the freedom of speech, of religion, of the press. So films, things like this are First Amendment protected activities. But where's the line? Does the First Amendment literally protect everything? That's my question for you guys. Well, I believe when it comes to certain things like child pornography, child trafficking is a real issue, unfortunately. In this country and throughout the world, hundreds of thousands of children end up missing. We don't know exactly how many because, again, they're missing. They don't just fill out paperwork and say, I abducted this many children for the child sex trafficking trade. So these numbers can never be known for sure, but many people say it's more than what we even know about. And if it was even one, that would be infinitely too many. So do I believe child pornography is protected under the First Amendment? No, I don't. Is child sex trafficking protected under the First Amendment? No, it's not. And I know that my God is not happy with this. And those of you, because again, I'm open to the fact there's many religions. And that those are sincerely held beliefs, guys. So does your God or whatever you worship, would they approve of that? Probably not. And I don't think any decent person approves of it. But then there's the government. The government gets involved. They seem to mess everything up. And it's always this very, very slippery slope. Now, I talk about firearms a lot. Some people say, well, you should be totally fine to have your shotgun, even your handgun, as long as it has less than a certain amount of rounds, they'll say. And that's the reasonable firearm to have. And I completely disagree with that. I think we should have any and all arms that are available that the federal government has. And there's a question that gets asked of that, and I'll bring that up, the elephant in the room. Well, is there any type of weapon that I would restrict? Actually, yes, there is. Before you get too mad, I'll explain. Nukes. People will say, well, if you can have any gun you want, should you be able to have nukes? And my answer is no, I don't think so. But with that said, neither should the government. Now, I get it. There's a nuclear arms race many decades ago, generations ago. And since Russia has them and many other countries have them, we, quote, need them now. Because if we're the only one that doesn't have them, we'd be a sitting duck and another country would take us over within minutes. And we'd be speaking Russian or whatever, or Chinese, right? So we're just in a crappy situation where there's just too many of these nukes everywhere. But if I could wave a magic wand, no, I don't believe a regular civilian should have nukes. But in turn, neither should the government. So I want to make sure that I'm accurately portraying that. But other than that, heck yeah, we should be able to have a M240 machine gun. Sure. Should we be able to have a tank? Regular citizens? Yeah, actually. Because guns don't kill people, people kill people. And it's the person, not the inanimate object, the tool. But we should be equally armed to fight off a potentially tyrannical government. And in many cases, our government's quite tyrannical now. So, there you go. There's my belief on the Second Amendment. We should be able to have anything that the government has. But probably not nukes, because I literally don't think anybody should have nukes. These are something that men, because men are not angels, in my opinion, shouldn't possess it all. And I wish I could just wave a magic wand and get rid of all nukes, period. Then those would be out of the discussion. Now let's go back to the First Amendment with Cuties. Should you be able to talk about things people don't like? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, the United States was founded upon the Christian model, God. That's what the founding fathers worshipped and believed in. And is it Christian-like to partake in pornography and to consume? No, I don't think it is. I think that's pretty clear in the Bible. However, is that the government's job to legislate that? No. So, pornography, adult pornography, consenting adults, sure, it should be legal underneath the laws of the land. And I don't think the government should be able to come in and stop that, because here's the problem. You let them stop that because that's your sincerely held religious belief. Well, someone else is going to have a sincerely held religious belief that wants to prohibit something that's dear to you, one of your rights that you truly enjoy. So no, I don't think it's the government's job to do that. But this is a little different because now we're talking children here. And whereas a lot of people will stop when we talk about guns and say, well, no, you shouldn't be able to have all weapons, including a nuke. That's just different. With the First Amendment, most people I've talked to my whole life say freedom of speech. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, if you yell fire in a crowded theater and it was false, there was no fire, and people stampeded to get to the exits and hurt themselves, you could be responsible for that. Most people believe that's a good limit, if you will, on the First Amendment. Inciting a riot, direct threats to somebody else. And I think those are okay limits because here's the thing, you have rights, but everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And when you're stopping or infringing on someone else's right to their life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that's probably where your rights should stop when they're taking someone else's away from them. Now, children, do they have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? Absolutely. Of course they do. And I believe a film like this does take away their rights to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness because I believe probably all pedophiles in the world are watching and consuming this film. This is sick, but probably, quite frankly, this is like their dream come true to be able to consume something like this, if I had to guess. Now, I can't really look through that lens because it makes me want to puke, and I'm not having a hard time talking about this in one sense, but in another sense, I'm having a hard time even talking about this. It's just nasty. But do we want Congress to get involved? Do we want the Department of Justice to get involved? I don't know. And I'm not just saying that because it's the easy answer. Because here's the problem with that. Department of Justice gets involved. Where's that line at? What if another film comes out and it's not quite as bad as Cuties? Do they also prosecute that filmmaker? What if there's one that's a little less bad than that? Where do you draw the line? Because here's the problem. Once the government takes power from the people and starts to infringe upon one of our God-given rights endowed by our Creator. This isn't me having a religious talk with you guys. These are in the founding documents, okay? And I'll cite the Declaration of Independence because I believe it's one of the greatest documents ever written. Where's that line? It's that slippery slope where we say if they can ban one gun, they'll ban all guns. And sure enough, they've banned guns. And now they want all of our guns. So if they can ban some speech, can they then ban all speech? That's a very valid argument. I tend to lean that way. However, this Cuties, it shouldn't exist. It needs to stop. This whole idea that children, young children, could be sex symbols and that they could be so sexually provocative, this is wrong and this is nasty. And as a father of an 8-year-old little girl, you know, these are children. There's no adultness about them when it comes to this. And I would actually hope that when my daughter grows up to be an adult, that she'd act, you know, somewhat like her mother, of course. I want her to be her own person, but her mother, my wife, doesn't go around doing these things that are in this film. So I don't think any decent lady, young lady, old lady, does these kinds of things, but let alone children. This film needs to go away, and it needs to not be accepted. It needs to be rejected by everybody in this country. So what do we do? Do we want Congress to get involved and make a law where you give them a little bit of power, just a little bit, to infringe upon those God-given rights and hands off? That's what the First Amendment says. It doesn't say Congress grants us these rights. It says Congress shall not abridge. The Second Amendment says shall not be infringed. These are negatives saying we have these already. The government can't take them away. Do I want people in Washington, D.C. with the Department of Justice? And in the United States Congress, the lower chamber of the House, the upper chamber of the Senate, do I want them to regulate our morality and decide what's moral and what's just? No, I don't. So that kind of scares me, wanting to pass laws and have the Department of Justice look into it. However, that is what we pay cops for. The Department of Justice is to put away pedophiles, rapists, murderers, things like that. Like, that is probably something that is well within their job description, right? You see where I'm heading with? This is complicated. Now, I believe the people should self-regulate and have their own, rule, if you will, because this is supposed to be a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We're supposed to be the government. And if we don't want it and want to put a stop to it, there you go. Now, one easy answer someone could propose is boycott. I don't really generally call for boycotts. I don't like cancel culture. I don't want them canceling me because I say something that's not politically correct, because I'm certainly more conservative than a lot of the mainstream people out there. And I'm actually taking a conservative approach to this topic because my conservative values, again, this is despicable, it's nasty, it's worse than any of those words. But yet I believe in a limited government, and I don't believe we should have the government rabbit-holing and deciding exactly what films can exist, what books can be read. But gosh, is this a fine line. This is such a fine line. So this is our discussion. I want you guys to leave comments. I know some of you will come right in with an authoritarian, this is what we ought to do. And you can do that. That's fine. Some of you guys may have different views on this. What do you guys think? You guys are my friends. I'm sitting here like, if there was a few of us just sitting here, I would be talking back and forth, but YouTube doesn't work that way, so I'm just talking to you right now. But you guys can talk back to me and each other down in the comment section. What do you guys think? Do you want Congress to be able to decide what books we can read? Because I'll tell you what films we can produce. There's congressmen out there that wouldn't want me doing this channel, that would want to ban my firearms channel. In fact, a lot of it's censored, and I can't even really show all the stuff I'd like to on both of my YouTube channels because my thoughts have been censored. Things that are actually enumerated in the Bill of Rights, like firearms, we already can't show certain kinds. We can't shoot them in certain ways and post them here to YouTube. So I know how it feels to be censored and oppressed. Now, these are totally two different things, though. The right to keep and bear arms, this is a good thing. Child pornography, child exploitation at the very least. It's at least child exploitation. No, it shouldn't exist. But do we really want Congress getting involved in it? Do you really trust a congressman to regulate morality? Do you think we should boycott? Now, I can tell you, I don't see how anybody could give them their money after putting up something like this, but I don't like to call for boycotts because that's a leftist type of way of thinking that I just don't fundamentally agree with. But it does need to go away. What do I do? What do we do? What are you guys doing? Are you talking about it? Do you know it exists? I'm sure you do. Well, I'm going to get back to work, guys. And when I get home later, friends of mine, Amanda and Jeremy, brought a couple presents for my daughter. She's 8 years old. She's not too far off from being 11. These are bubbles. And I'm sure she's going to like all three, but the only thing I'm wondering right now is she going to pick the pink one or the purple one as her favorite? Playing with bubbles. That's what 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds should be doing in their spare time when they're not doing their schoolwork or when they're not, in her case, playing the piano, things like that. When I think of a child, when I think of a 11-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever, I think of bubbles. She also likes to play with Legos a lot. She likes to play with her Barbie dollhouse mansion. I think of Barbie dolls, Legos, stuffed animals, the trips to the zoo that she loves to go to, animals, puppies, kitties, things like that. I don't think of this film Cuties. I think of that as an alternate reality where it's like, you have to be kidding me. This is a dream and I'm going to wake up and it doesn't exist. But it does exist. And they've pushed the envelope so far. I almost wonder if this isn't a ploy to get Congress to get involved so they can have more of a slippery slope to be able to regulate what we read and what we consume. But at the same time, I don't think anyone should consume Cuties, and I'm going to suggest to you that you don't watch it, to be honest. Watch it if you want to. Maybe most of you have, but nothing I would suggest, nothing I would endorse, of course, but some stuff you don't even really want to see. And I saw stuff that I wish I didn't see, and I just wanted to talk about it. I don't know, I think my little girl's probably, I'm going to get proven wrong on this, I think she's probably going to pick the pink one. But under no certain circumstances is she going to watch this film. This film's not going to be allowed to be played in my house, like literally over my dead body. Would it not be played for even 1 second in my home? And if you guys do watch it, I'm going to tell you, do what you want. This is a family-friendly channel. Don't watch it in front of your kids. You'll decide for yourself what you think of it as an adult, but it's sick. It's really, really sick. Where should Congress come into play with this? I don't trust the United States Congress, do you? But I know wrong when I see it. Shame on these people. Shame on these people to even put this out. And shame on Netflix. I don't support Netflix. I totally disavow Netflix. Worst judgment call I've seen in a long time. That's my decision, and I don't need a congressman to tell me that. And I also don't need Congress to regulate my rights. But I don't believe that the First Amendment should protect child pornography either. It's not quite to that point, but it's pretty close, guys. It's right on the edge. In my opinion, it's as close as you could get to it. So, where's the line? Let me know what you guys think. I think I've said enough about it. Probably too much. It's kind of a video I didn't want to do, but I'm kind of curious what other people think about it. Netflix Cuties. Nasty. Despicable. Alright, well, we're not going to be watching that in my house, and I look forward to watching a little girl go outside and play with bubbles and show me her latest Legos creation. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and have a good one.